In 2024, I got to sit down with Filipino stage actor JPV, Joaquin Pedro Valdes, who's been taking the UK theatre scene by storm with shows like Deathnote the Musical, The Lion King, Miss Saigon, Pacific Overtures, and most recently the musical adaptation of Percy Jackson, The Lightning Thief. We sat down with JPV last year and he was hot off the heels of Deathnote and going straight into the theatre run of Pacific Overtures. It was my first time interviewing and to be honest, I was bricking it. I was super scared, I was nervous, licking my lips, and probably done a little bit of a shit.
I am Joaquin Pedro Valdes. I'm a Filipino actor living and working here in London.
So let's talk about the production, Deathnote the Musical. Tell us a bit about how you got into the production, about the lead role, and the show itself.
Well, I was in the middle of doing another new musical when I heard from the director, Nick Winston, asking me if I knew Deathnote. And I've heard of it because back when I was in Manila, it was a big deal back in the early noughties. Deathnote was a manga that became an anime, and there was a couple of films made in Japan. And in the Philippines, there's like a really, considerable audience for manga and anime. And it was quite popular because it was basically like Frank Miller's Sin City, but the manga version, because it was taking elements of traditional manga like Dragon Ball Z and all that, but making it telling a really cool murder police detective story, and it really popped off. So fast forward to early 2023 when Nick Winston messaged me saying, do you know Deathnote? Because there's a musical and it's coming to London. And he just basically kept me aware that it was about to happen. And a couple of months later, after doing a couple of new shows here in London, I got a call from my agent saying that I'm being checked for availability for the concert. It was really, really quick. I didn't really audition for it. I think they just sent some material, and next thing I knew, I was offered the role of Light Yagami. And it's a brand new musical. I say brand new, but it's been in development since 2015, I want to say. They did an English language demo, which is unreleased. And then it got translated to Japanese and South Korean. And then finally, they were going to do the English language premiere with me as Light Yagami. So yeah, it was really cool. So I've worked with Nick Winston prior, and I think that's why he, kept me in his, in his consciousness and thought about me when he found out that the title was coming to the UK.
How did that make you feel, getting selected for that lead role?
Of course, absolutely grateful, but also it's nice to feel like the relationships you've built and the hard work that you've been grafting at, for so many years kind of pays off, because it's I kind of graduated and let go of this idea of waiting for a big break. COVID really changed my mindset in understanding how an actor's career should be. Some people will have that big break, and that's really fortunate, but to chase and wait for that big break keeps you stagnated and keeps you demoralized most of the time, rather than finding greatness in every opportunity to do the job that you've chosen to do. So whether I'm in some fringe show in the middle of nowhere in the UK or doing a brand new show with 10 people in the audience, if you find an opportunity to make that great, you'll find that more doors open naturally. I got the job that I'm in now, Pacific Overtures at the Meunier, when I was doing a not so well-received show early this year. I mean, some people really loved it, but a lot of people didn't, and that's the nice thing about new material. And someone came to watch that and opened up an opportunity for me to audition for this show. So you'll never really know what can happen if you just, set your eyes on the task at hand, do it really well, be professional, maintain good relationships with the creatives and the production, and just be a good co-worker, and more doors will open up.
Lovely. I got to spend some time with Joaquin in and around his local area of Richmond, getting to know more about him, how he's been adjusting to this London life, and what he's been getting up to in and around the city. I wanted to find out his experience as a Filipino actor in London. Is it hard? Is it easy? What's it like adjusting to life here?
So what's like the most exciting thing for you in London? What are like your hobbies outside of theatre?
Wow, that's a good question. Well, I really like cooking. If I wasn't an actor, I'd probably be like a cook or a chef, yeah.
Yeah.
And I just love that. I mean, you got all these great cuisines here in London, all of these nice independent coffee shops and bakeries and restaurants. I love that. But also, like, mainly, I really like history. So what I love about London as well is that it's so central to a lot of historical landmarks. So my wife and I love going outside London, seeing like palaces or like estates, museums. I love that. I love all that history, and it's just bustling with like culture.
Are you into like the source material? Are you into like anime?
Yeah, I was, but not like Deathnote per se. I was reading other things. I was reading other graphic novels at that time, and I kind of stopped watching anime in that period in my life. But I'm a fan of anime and of manga. So definitely when I got the job, I was like, it's time to dive back in and research and get tucked in with the source material.
Wicked.
So I bought the whole volume and all that. So.
How did you find the story?
Oh, friggin' amazing. I think it was so intelligent and ingenious. I think it was, like what I said, it was using the form, like shonen manga, but telling a brand new story. So instead of super titans with superhero powers that have this face-off in the middle of a desert, you have two individuals, Light and L, who are super intelligent, and that's their superpower. And they're trying to outwit and outsmart each other. But then the way it's drawn and the way it's shown in the anime is similar to like when you're watching like Dragon Ball Z. So, or when you have these big face-offs between like these big titans. Mm-hmm. But then what you're really seeing is two young people with superhuman intelligence and wit. And I just found that so clever.
Are there any songs from the musical that you really like?
From this musical?
Yeah. No, from Deathnote.
Oh, from Deathnote.
From Deathnote.
Yeah, I would have to say Hurricane would probably be my, almost like an anthem. I think as a bit of songwriting and lyric writing, it's just really beautiful. It captures the character at a specific moment, but also it presents him at a quandary wherein he has the opportunity to do something really great at the risk of destroying himself or destroying other people. And it's so tension filled, but also ironically so full of hope.
Can you give us a little sample?
No, you're gonna have to see it. Or wait for the concept album to come out, so.
Cool. Did you ever write anyone or anything's name in the Deathnote when you're on stage?
Yeah, but that's gonna be my little secret. I wrote a lot of names. I had a couple of scenes. Well, I have a lot of scenes in the show where I'm writing, and I'm writing real names, so.
Did you picture their face same time?
Maybe.
Just a big hit list. Would you consider more anime musical productions?
Yeah, of course, if the story is great. If the story is great, if the material is really good, why not? And I think I like that now. I like that the world is opening up stories in different forms and coming from different proximities.
What would be your ideal one? Would you consider Blue Eye Samurai?
Yeah, I would, but I'm thinking which one. Oh yeah, I think I would. Blue-Eyed Samurai would be incredible.
Quite saucy.
Yeah, that would be very, very saucy.
Saucy and violent.
Which is perfect for theater.
Yeah. What preparations did you make for the role of Light?
I went into the text. I watched the movies, I watched the anime, I read the manga. I mean, I think an actor's #1 ally, if not most important like ally, would be the text, would be the source material. I read the script and then I built the character through really diving deep into the source. Who is Light? Why do people love him? Why do people hate him? What is his arc? What is his overall worldview? And just building who this guy is and understanding how I fit into that. Yeah, I understood. I tried to at least understand why people loved it, but more importantly, I tried to understand why I loved it. Because if I understood and loved the material and the character, then I think I'm doing it honor and I'm doing it justice. He's not a very likable character in the end. If people know Deathnote, he's not one that you want to root for. But I don't judge Light. In fact, I really feel for him. And in fact, I'm very much like Light. Ooh, that's weird.
You're in the UK.
Yeah.
You first land here.
Yeah.
What was on your bucket list for you to do?
Go to London.
Go to London.
That's what I thought I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But the work had us in Manchester for 7 weeks, and we just fell in love with Manchester. And everybody up north is just so much nicer.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, there's just like
London's a bit
so
cold, yeah.
welcoming and all that. Of course, London is like the mecca for like musical theater and theater.
Yeah.
And we wanted to go to the West End and all that. Like us, I guess the first few months here in the UK was all about like just taking it all in, being a tourist, and you know. And then the second half of that year was really more like, all right, we're here now in the UK. It's about building our life here now, which is nice. But yeah, the bucket list was really to be in London and just see as much as we can. But then we realized that because we're outside of London most of the time for the year, going to these different cities all across the country, we could see more.
Yeah.
Like, if you're in Bristol, we took a trip to Bath, Manchester, we went to Edinburgh from Manchester as well. So further north, I say that, so I make a mistake. Actually, no, we love Manchester, but it's really Edinburgh.
Edinburgh
as well, yeah, Scotland.
Yeah, yeah.
That we really, really love. If I
Try
could,
some haggis.
oh yeah,
Some good whiskey.
you know what? So I cook, right?
Yeah.
And you know the Filipino dish dinuguan?
Yeah, yeah. It's dinuguan for the audience. It's basically like
It's like pork blood,
Pork blood.
with like pork belly and all of these good stuff, right?
yeah, yeah.
I put haggis in my dinuguan,
Is it?
or I put haggis in my adobo.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and it's sick. It's really,
Combo.
really good. Yeah.
Scottish Filipino combo.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I like it. Again, I eat anything though.
Yeah.
To know about JPV,
Mhm.
to know you as a person, let's go back in time and let's talk about Philippines. What was your experience growing up in the Philippines?
I would say I had a very, I guess, typical upper middle class youth and childhood in the Philippines. I was, really loved by my folks. I was 5 of 8 children and a very big family. I went to a Chinese school, a Filipino Chinese Jesuit school.
What was that?
And we learned, it wasn't completely taught in Chinese, so we had one subject that was in Chinese, but it was a known private all-boys school. And
Was there any banter there? A lot of banter because it's all boys?
a lot of banter. Our banter in Manila is very different.
Is it?
It's not like here, which is something I had to learn when I moved here. I was like, ooh, Like I realize I'm easily offended. I shouldn't be. But yeah, I mean, I can keep up now with British banter. I used to not be very good at it. But yeah, Manila was very different. I was a geek. I liked studying. I liked science. I liked maths. I like English literature. I like musical theater. I was a friggin' geek. And then growing up in college, then I became kind of like the jock. I loved sports in college. I was in the rowing team. I was in the ultimate frisbee team, and you know, all these things. But yeah, Manila is home for me. London is home, but Manila is also home. And I think two things can be true at the same time.
After that first interview, I knew that there was more to JPV. In order to get those answers out of him, I had to get him off the stage and into the gym. So JPV, tell us about how you got so buff. Tell us about like your fitness regime. Are you into it? What's your diet like?
I'm so buff. It's so funny because I was always a fat kid. I was always a roly-poly. I mean, yeah, I was teased to have cankles before, where your calves just go straight into your feet and you have real ankles.
One connection.
And growing up, I was bullied about it. My siblings always made fun of me that I wasn't athletic, because my family is really athletic. My dad was into sports. He was varsity soccer player, swimmer in his university. My eldest brother was like a star basketball player. My sisters were really into gymnastics. So I wasn't, and I was into the arts. I like singing and dancing.
Yeah.
And I always had this insecurity about my body until one day I pushed, I think, my body to its limit. I trained with everything. I joined the ultimate frisbee team. I was a rower in university. I was rock climbing. I did all sorts of stuff. I went straight into CrossFit.
What was that kind of transitional moment? What really pushed you over the edge?
It was when I got into university, where I just wanted to start taking a hold of my body and wanting to be more athletic. And not, it's funny because it wasn't really about, back then, it wasn't about me feeling good about myself. It was a vanity thing. I wanted to be known to be athletic. I wanted to, reinvent myself and look the opposite of how I was feeling. So there was like a dishonesty at first. It was to cover up a lot of my own insecurity.
So when you got into that, did it actually bring up your self-esteem and like confidence and stuff when you started working out?
I think so. Not to the effect that I wanted it to. And it's so funny, body dysmorphia, that's a real thing. Because I look back at photos of myself in college and I was lean. And I was like, I was sun-kissed, I was always under the sun. I was in the dragon boat team, I was lean. Running like 5K, training with the rest of the team in university. But I remember how I felt at that time. I felt like I felt like I was still overweight.
So when you were looking in the mirror, you still felt like...
Yeah,
even though you were ripped, you were trim.
Yeah, I was so trim, but I didn't have the body that I thought I wanted in my head.
Yeah.
And I wanted to look like a superhero. So then I got into all sorts of stuff. I went to CrossFit, and then I went to powerlifting. At one point, I did look like a bouncer, or like a Ninja Turtle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I shaved my head. I literally looked like a Ninja Turtle outside of its shell. And then I got into bodybuilding, and that's when I got a coach. I did all sorts of crazy stuff, and I eventually won this competition, which, it was nice. But then I realized after winning that the amount of work that goes into looking like that is so intense, and it compromises a lot of things, your own mental health, your relationships, and it was after that where I got to that, and I have photos to prove it, and I realized, oh, this is what the body that I thought I wanted. The benefit I got from that process was I realized that it wasn't the body per se that I wanted. I wanted something more long-lasting. I wanted a mindset of health. I wanted to make sure that my body was able to be there for the people I love, for my wife. I wanted to live long.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted to play. I wanted to be able to run fast, not because people are watching, but because I wanted to be able to do it. You know, so
did you feel healthy during that stage of bodybuilding and stuff?
At the height of it, no.
Is
I
it?
looked great, but then I felt so sluggish and heavy. And that kind of changed my mindset. And I'm not gonna hate on any specific discipline, because there's benefit to CrossFit, there's benefit to bodybuilding. Powerlifting is great, it got my strength up. And if you look at all of that, my whole journey in terms of fitness in my body, I take a lot of little nuggets, of golden nuggets from that whole journey, which is probably why when you look at me and say, JPV, how you get so buff?
Yeah.
That's years and years of me doing trial and error, and not just with the training, but with the diet as well.
Yeah, so when you were looking at this, like a bodybuilder, and when you started to work on yourself, did you get a lot of girls during the time? What was it like? Were you like popular?
No, more guys actually.
What?
Yeah. I realized that, especially like when I was in the Philippines, Filipino girls don't really, I mean, you know what I mean? Like it's a different culture altogether.
What, did they get intimidated by your size or something?
They get a little intimidated. They get a little like, you know, if you come up to imposing, but the boys, all like the straight men and the gay men, they love it.
They're like, yo, bro,
like,
coming up to you.
So it's all a facade, you know, like social media, ads on
Smoke
Instagram.
screen, innit?
It's all smoke screen, because nobody looks like that 24/7.
Yeah.
And I just want to be healthy.
So with the diet, do you still eat like Filipino dishes and stuff like that?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I don't put as much sugar in my adobo. The first few months you come to London in the UK, you're like, oh, everything's, you know, rose tinted and beautiful and exciting, all the historic buildings. After a while, when your phone gets snatched, or you
realize it.
you're like, oh, all right, I need to keep my hands in my pockets and just make sure that everything's close to my body. Yeah, it's just, you know, I guess that's the good and bad of a big city. Like, you know, it's good because it has so much to offer for people who want to come to it. But the bad is, you know, there are bad eggs.
Yeah.
With it, and that happens anywhere, I think.
Yeah.
Boxing, have you ever tried boxing?
I did.
Yeah?
I did. I don't know. I just feel I'm so heavy. I'm too big for boxing.
Is it?
I just feel like I should do it more often because I can get leaner.
Would you want to go some rounds with me? Some sparring?
Yeah, man. Let's do it. You'll kick my ass, but I think
Probably not.
you'll kick my ass.
Did you ever get to compete? You sparred anyone or anything like that?
No. My dad put me in Taekwondo before, and I wasn't very good at it. I was good at intimidating whoever I was trying to spar with. So you know how the referee would go, 3, 2, 1, go. Well, I do. I wasn't very good in terms of the technique. So my dad goes, when the referee gives you the signal, just scream and run. And I did that as a kid. And I won a couple of spars because of that. 3, 2, 1, and I'd go, wah! And you'd see them get really scared.
Oh shit. This is like almost like a Spartan roar, just run at him.
Yeah.
Did you do any low blows or dirty tricks to try and win? Punch people in the nuts?
No. I like following the rules. I like the discipline of martial arts. I really like the focus and the discipline, and I appreciate that more now. The silence of just clearing your head.
Yeah.
And just focusing on the task at hand.
Okay, let's talk about music. So can you please tell us about WACKIE VALDES? Where did you come up with that name?
WACKIE VALDES. Well, as a nickname back in the Philippines, at one point I thought it was cool that people called me Wacky. And when I was young in theater, they spelled it W-A-C-K-I-E. This is unnecessary information. And then eventually when I had a boy band, I don't know if that's what...
Is that 1728?
It was 1728. I was in a boy band, and yeah, then I left the boy band and did like a little solo recording thing, a little unsuccessful jazz album, called it WACKIE, but then Joaqui. I think that was me subconsciously wanting to go back to my real name, which is Joaquin. So it was just building that way. But yeah, that was my life. So I was in a boy band for a year and a half.
Why was it called 1728?
That was based off of like a biblical verse from Acts 17:28. It was, I think, cool to have like a number. Everybody was like, you know, in the boy band era, A1 or whatever, like it had like a cool thing. And yeah, it was from Acts 17:28, in him we live, move, and have our being. So it was a nice little profound thing that we liked as a group.
Tell us about your bandmates. Like, how did you meet those guys?
So we were all in musical theater, and we were in that age where we were too young to play like leading men. And I was in that age where I was too young to play leading men, but also too old to play kid roles. But I started in the theater since I was 10. So people knew me as a musical theater kid, but then when you hit puberty, your voice changes and things just, you know, you can't sing those notes anymore. I had a really high voice then, before puberty. And then me and another musical theater guy were put together by the theater company, like impresarios. And they said, why don't we make a boy band? And we found another guy to join, and we had an audition for the fourth guy to join. And yeah, that became us. And yeah, for a good couple of years we were together, and our musical director basically was one of the best, I think still is the best musical director in the Philippines. And he arranged all these songs, and we were doing like gospel, R&B, pop, and we had one album as the four of us called 1728 Sukob Na. And our single Sukob Na was a very popular song during the rainy day season, because ABS CBN used it as their like flagship station ID song.
Oh wow!
And everybody knows that. So it's a real nostalgic song.
Yeah.
And during the pandemic, the four of us got together and we did like a virtual reunion of that song, and it went viral. Like people loved it, and you know, and people were saying that we sound better than we did when we started out. So that was nice.
What was it like performing together? Did you go to like any venues and stuff?
Oh yeah, and
on tour?
That was at the time. This was pre-BTS and pre-K-pop, so it wasn't cool.
It wasn't?
We weren't cool at all. We were ridiculed. And this is also at a time where music was very much, this is pre-streaming. So music was classified in a certain way, like that's just pop, that's R&B, that's grunge, that's alternative rock, that's glam rock, you know what I mean? And that's heavy metal. And people were very much associated in groups that listened to a certain kind, and you dressed accordingly. If you were a grunge listener and you listened to all of these alternative rock songs, then you dressed accordingly and you hung out with the same people. So nobody listened to the boy bands because the boy bands were so uncool. It was like so cheesy and so corny. And I remember when we were first launched, we did like a school tour, and as the curtain went up, and they saw four guys, no instruments. We were just there ready to dance. All we heard was this whole auditorium of laughter and pointing at us.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was brutal.
How did you guys feel when that went up?
Like
you guys...
absolute crap.
Did you still manage to squeeze out the performance? Yeah?
You do it anyway, you know? And I think that built character as well. And eventually, once we had like a hit single and we did the gigs, we did a bar tour, people eventually warmed up to us and knew that, oh, these guys are are proper musicians and proper singers. And when we launched when we launched the album, and we had a couple of great songs in there, people knew that we were worth our salt. So
Yeah. What was it like applying your singing from like studio to stage?
well, I've always started in the stage.
Stage first.
So, and that's always been my first love. But then my pop era, being in the recording studio, and we were in the recording studio a lot. Like, we would burn the midnight oil in the studio. It unlocked a certain skill. It unlocked a certain like confidence to sing inside a booth and with a mic, and I love that. That's one of my most, like, I guess, it's like home. I did a recording for a concept album for a musical I did recently out here, and they brought me to an old studio here in London, and I was like, wow, it's like a dream. Like, this is, I feel absolutely at home in the studio, and doing a lot of takes. It's a different skill altogether, but it's a skill I think any singer needs to have, knowing how to do it on stage, but also knowing how to do it in the studio.
When you were in Philippines, did you think differently of London? Did you think it's a place that's like completely safe?
Absolutely, I think, and part of that is this myth that you build in your mind about anywhere that you're not in currently. And you project all your desires and all of your aspirations into something like a city, because you want to get out of your situation.
Yeah.
And you realize that your situation's not that different wherever you go. And it's what you make out of it. You know what I mean? It's what you make of it that will make it better. It's not so much the location, but I did say to Aggie, to my wife, that I wanted to be in an environment where I knew that if I worked hard, I could improve and I could get somewhere. And I wanted to be in an environment where there was integrity in the work that I did, so that I could build a better life.
Yeah.
And my current situation in Manila at that time just didn't provide that environment for me.
Did you feel like you hit the ceiling in Manila and you couldn't?
That's what I did feel like. And there's just so much talent and so much passion in my line of work in Manila. But there's just the situation and the environment or the structure that doesn't allow for someone like me to really, really hit my potential. And I just wanted to challenge myself. I guess the adventurous spirit in me, the grit, and the passionate actor and artist in me just wanted to see how far I could go. And I kept looking at all of my heroes out here in London and in the US, and I'm like, why do I need to keep looking out? Why don't I try and make it out there myself and see how far I can go?
So tell us about theatre. Like, how did you get into theatre? How old were you?
Very young. So there's a thing, my family loved theater, musicals. Every Christmas we'd watch The Sound of Music on our, on Betamax. I don't think that's a thing anymore, but we'd watch it religiously, and musicals would always be like in our TV screens in the holiday seasons, and we'd love it. We'd go to the theater as much as we could, and then for Christmas, because there's loads of us grandkids, my mom would mount a little skit, but I'd say little, but then there are like 20 grandkids, or it felt like that, and all of the guests of my grandfather and grandmother would, in their big house, would all set aside after dinner the tables and chairs, and there would be like curtains and lights and costumes and the whole thing. Wow. Right in the the big living area, and we'd mount a skit like the day Santa forgot Christmas or a little match girl, and it would be basically like a little story in costumes, and it's just for my grandfather and grandmother to see all of their grandkids perform.
Were you shy as a kid to perform there in front of your family, or
I was
how did you
very
feel?
shy, but what I wanted to be was included in this thing. But I was very young, and I was
literally either a tree or a little bunny. Like I was just too young, but I just wanted to be included because it looked so fun with all my cousins doing it.
Yeah.
So I was exposed to this concept of us performing for an audience. Until when I was 10 years old, my schoolmate said, oh, I'm gonna do this summer workshop that this theater company runs. Basically, they teach kids in the summer, when there's no school, theater stuff. And you do a little showcase. And I wanted to be with my friend. And there were no more slots. It was so popular and there were no more slots. And my dad basically went out of the way. He saw how sad I was when we tried to get into the workshop and there were no more slots. We got rejected at the window. My dad pulled strings, called people in power and got me a slot because he saw how sad I was. And he got me a slot in there. And that kind of was the first time I got bitten by the bug. And I just loved it. And every summer now, because we don't have drama school the way the UK has drama school. So it's like a summer stock, kind of summer theater camp, essentially. And yeah, I got bitten by the bug, and every summer now, I started doing it until I started to do my first professional job a year later when I was 11.
How did you feel that your dad kind of like supported you, well, got you in there?
I loved it. It was nice to have like, yeah, it was nice to have your dad like, it's always a nice feeling to look up to your dad and you see that he's doing something for you.
Yeah.
It's like, I remember that feeling, thinking, oh, my dad is like so well connected, or he's so important, or he's so heroic almost, because he moved a mountain just for me to be able to do it. And yeah, and you know, he didn't realize it then, but that it had a profound impact on me years later. But also my mom, and my mom and dad are not together, but my mom always filled the house with music. So my interest in it was also because of my mom. So it's like my dad moved the mountains logistically to get me into that summer camp, but my interest was also brought about because my mom filled the house with so much music.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, it was a nice, I think it was quite inevitable. And
Who's the best singer in your family?
That's gonna be a debate because all my siblings are incredible singers. My dad, before he passed away, would always love us siblings to sing songs around the dinner table. We all had our vocal parts and we all sang together. And every time I get to go home, we still do it. Yeah.
Okay, so favorite song to sing at the house party with your family?
Favorite song to sing? Oh, we always do this a cappella version of In the Still of the Night that that Boyz II Men did.
Can you give us a little sample?
Yeah. In the still of the night, I held you tight. Oh, I love you so. Promise I'll never let you go in the still of the night.
Banger, 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 everybody in the studio clap.
So boring.
If you could give any advice for Filipinos who'd like to go into theatre, what would it be?
Just do it. Just do it. I had more reasons not to, or I was given more reasons by everybody else that was trying to give me advice that were well-meaning. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of risk. There's a lot of uncertainty involved in making a decision like that. And you can listen to that and you can let that drive you. And that's perfectly fine. People who have decided to do things safely have lived long and happy lives. That's great. But personally, I was always one to step out of my comfort zone and try new things. And if I listened to the fear, then I wouldn't have gotten to where I am now. And I don't think I've gotten very far yet. You know, I think there's still a lot more to go, and I just need to stop listening to the fear.
Tell us a bit about Makati, where you grew up, and what appealed to you about the UK. Is there any relation between the two?
Well, Makati is where I lived before I came here. I grew up in Quezon City, which is, you know, when you're in Manila, it's all really connected by a very, very congested road called EDSA. Lots of differences, very few similarities. But I think the similarity is it's a city. It's a central city where people think that dreams can come true in, and people gravitate toward the city and to the center because that's where they can live out their lives and their aspirations. And I think that's what we have in common, Manila and London.
Does your family have any history of acting?
No.
No?
I'm
you
the
the
only
first?
actor in my family. I do have a tito? No, like a granduncle who was an actor, a famous film actor, but I never really had a relationship with him because it's quite far. But he's the uncle of my mom, Pancho Magalona, who you can Google him. He was back way when the film studios were a big thing in Manila, black and white films. He was a big star.
Wow. Do you still speak Tagalog?
Yeah, I do.
Do you have any message for our kabayans today who are watching you, some of your fans?
Kayod lang ng kayod at mangarap ka.
When you reflect back on your life in the Philippines, do you look at it from a negative or positive light? Was there many experiences that shaped
Both.
you?
Both things. You can look at things in a negative and a positive light.
Yeah.
In anything, there's always two sides to the same coin.
What were some of the positives about Philippines for you?
It gave me the grit to get to where I am. It gave me all the training. I have great relationships and friendships in the Philippines. Some of my best friends are in the Philippines, who I can't see, unfortunately. My family's in the Philippines. It continues to make me who I am. I'll never be not Filipino and not from Manila. I take that with me everywhere I go.
When's the last time you went back and visited your hometown?
Wow. That's Christmas of 2022. My dad flew me out there, insisted I spend Christmas with him. And I did. I flew out Christmas Day, got there Christmas Day, had a great meal with my dad. And then 3 days later, he passed away. Yeah. Never got to see me do my thing out here. He is a very, very stubborn and intelligent. He's a genius. My dad's a genius. Lots of people look up to him. He's a professor. He is an economist. He's an educator. He was a political analyst. He's a genius. Very, very stubborn. That's where I get it from. Very alpha male, very traditional. And I always thought that he, you know, kind of looked down on my profession. Little did I know that when he passed away and we were organizing his stuff, he had framed all of the articles of me and all of the stuff that I've been doing out here. He had put them in nice big frames for me to keep. And I just found out that he was so proud of what I was doing.
How did that make you feel
Oh,
at that moment?
It completed a circle for me. I'm so glad I went home. And he passed away suddenly, like there was no premonition. He probably knew. I think he was probably just, you know, unraveling some knots and completing certain stories. And yeah, I'm so glad that I had those last moments with him. And I did, 2 days before he passed away, I did a little gathering, a little party in our house for some close friends and him. And I sang my songs, stuff that I did here in the UK, and told him some of my stories out here. And he was so proud. And I'm very glad I went home.
How does it feel like your first audition? Were you quite nervous?
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, I tell even young actors, the rejection is the norm. It's when you get accepted, when you book the job, that's outside of the norm. So once you get used to that and you start counting your stats, like for every 10 rejections, I get one acceptance,
booking.
you know, or I book one job. And then the idea is you try to narrow that margin. And it's not about you. I mean, as long as you go into the room and you did everything that you could and you're happy when you walk out, that's it.
Your job's done.
Your job's done. And my worth and my happiness is not on whether or not they approve me. My worth and my happiness is knowing that I went to the room, I did what I could. I prepped for it. I did my part. I didn't half-ass the work. I studied it and I came prepared and I did my best. Whatever my best is at that time, then only thing I can do is move away and then go to the next one.
Sweet. So please tell us about your first role. How did you get into acting? What age? And did you find it difficult?
That was way back when. I'm trying to forget it. I was 11 years old. It was for a production of Evita, the musical, Andrew Lloyd Webber. And I was in the ensemble. I was a kid actor amongst, I think there might have been like 11 or 12 kids of us. And that started it all. But then I was watching a lot of theater because my family would take me to the theater a lot. And I really loved it. And I really wanted to be part of that. I would hear the orchestra warm up. I could smell the seats in the theater, you know.
What did it smell like?
It's just like, it's a perfumed carpety, like it felt in a really nice way, like a homely, there's the dust. It's just like, it gives me a great sense memory from a specific theater back in the Philippines. And you knew that when you enter the theater and you could feel the air conditioning, how cold it was, and then the red velvet curtain, it was just like really like imprinted into my mind. And when the curtain rose and there's this beautiful set, beautiful costumes, great singing, yeah, I just never forgot it. And I wanted to be a part of that. And I was about to reveal my age. At 11 years old, I was, and I never stopped since then.
Fantastic. You were the understudy of SIMBA?
I was the understudy of SIMBA.
Yeah, how did you find it?
It was great. That was 1 year of doing The Lion King. I mean, everybody loves The Lion King. I grew up watching that. It is basically one of Disney's greatest films, because it's loosely based on Hamlet, if people didn't realize that. It's Shakespearean. It's a story of redemption. The music's incredible. And it's the friggin' Lion King.
Yeah.
And yeah, so to play Simba, yeah, it was a dream come true. There's nothing quite like that last scene wherein you're finally king and you walk up the steps of Pride Rock and you hear that music with the whole ensemble singing, and it's really quite emotional. I get quite emotional just thinking about it.
So, CNN Philippines called you the Prince of New Musicals. How do you feel about that?
I don't like titles.
No?
I really don't. Makes me uncomfortable. Yeah, I don't like being titled anything other than someone who's just doing my job.
A great actor. Yeah.
Yeah, and because titles will fade, but also titles put this unnecessary pressure on you to be something and kind of boxes you in. I like the discovery, and that's why I chose this profession. I like the discovery. I like the learning. I like the trying out things that make me uncomfortable. I like the negotiations. I like the questions. I like staying curious. And that's what makes me an actor. It's not the titles. It's not the awards. It's not the recognition. It's the opportunity to just do.
What relaxes you like after a show? What do you do to like unwind and cool down?
Talk to my missus. We have a nice debrief.
Do you like lie in bed and then chat about everything?
No, in the living room, we just chat and we kind of like count our blessings and see how far we've come. Because literally, I moved here in 2018 And a year prior to that, a lot of the things that we've experienced as a couple here in London were things that we couldn't even think about when we were in the Philippines. These were not even dreams that we wanted to dream. These were unthinkable things. And, you know, we count our blessings, and I'm like, babe, can you imagine? I'm hanging out with so-and-so. I'm doing this job with so-and-so, and I'm in this incredible industry filled with people who I really looked up to.
Can you tell like any aspiring Filipinos like the grind and the graft of like coming into the UK and like how actors are in the UK with work and stuff?
It's hard. It's not a cakewalk. Talent is one thing, but I think 80–90% of it is the work and your attitude. And there's so much talent around. Everybody's an incredible singer. There's like 1,000 people who are better singers than I am. There's even more who are better actors and better dancers than I am. But if you keep comparing yourself to other people, then you've already lost. I think the idea is to embrace who you are and your own uniqueness and your own story. And there will be doors that will be slammed onto your face. There will be people who just don't want to see you. And that's fine. That's on them. Then you move on and you find the doors that are going to be open.
Oh. So JPV, tell us your socials. Where can we find you and follow you?
I'm mainly on Instagram, so Joaquin Pedro Valdes. You'll see me. It's all caps. Yeah, that's public. You'll see what I'm up to, and you'll see my cat
Yo, nice.
and my missus and my work. That's all I post about. So occasional food.
Nice one. Thank you for letting us interview you today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
And do you have any last message for the audience?
Last message is no, just be yourself and keep working hard.
Sounds good, man. Round of applause. Thank you, JPV. After spending time with JPV, I got to have a peek behind the curtain, and not only the theatre industry here in London, but also a bit about Joaquin himself, how his passion for acting and musicals brought him to the doorstep of theatre in the West End. I'd like to take this moment to thank Joaquin once again, the Menier Chocolate Factory for letting us film on stage, and finally to you, the viewer, my audience, for joining me on this special sit-down chat with one of the many fascinating Filipinos in London. Some quick fire questions I was going to ask you. Coming back to fitness, do you believe in like semen retention? Does it give you more?
Whoa.